If you're learning to code right now with the goal of landing a junior developer role, I want you to stop. That role does not exist anymore, not the way it used to at least, because AI has killed it. And here is what nobody is telling you. What has actually replaced it is a much faster path that pays more and is way more accessible than the old model ever was. So today, I'm going to explain exactly what has changed, why it has changed, and what the new playbook actually looks like. My name is Amaechi, and I run a company called Decentral Hub. We've launched, built and secured over £250 million worth of crypto projects. I've had students go from zero experience to roles at Binance, the Ethereum Foundation, and the top security firms. And the way they got there looks nothing like how people were getting hired 3 years ago. What I'm about to break down is the shift I've watched happen in real time and how the people around me are adapting to it. Let me take you back to 2020, 2021, even 2023. The playbook was simple. You learn a programming language, you build some portfolio projects, maybe a to-do app, a weather app, maybe even a basic full stack clone or something. Then you put it on your GitHub and you apply to hundreds of jobs. Eventually, a company would take a chance on you as a junior developer. You'd get in the door earning maybe 30 to 40,000 and you'd learn on the job. And over the next few years, you'd grow into a mid-level role. You see, that model worked because the companies at the time needed volume. They needed just empty bodies basically sitting in seats writing basic code. And they needed boilerplate features, documentation, and simple implementation. So the output of a junior developer was valuable enough to justify the cost of hiring them and training them up. Companies had the patience for it, and the market had the room for it. And honestly, it was a fair trade because you got the experience and they got the output. So everybody moved forward. But then the baseline shifted. AI can now produce what junior developers used to produce. The same boilerplate code, the same basic implementations, the same standard features and debugging. And AI can do it even faster than a human and for a lot cheaper cost. So if you think about that from a company's perspective, if you're a startup founder or an engineering manager and the output you are paying a junior developer £35,000 a year to produce can now be generated by a tool that your senior developers already use, why would you hire that junior? You wouldn't, and they're not. So the role that junior developers used to fill, which was writing straightforward code that keeps the products moving, that role doesn't require a human anymore. Not because the work has disappeared, because it hasn't, but the work still exists, it's just being done now by the AI. And it's being directed by mid and senior developers who were previously managing these juniors. So the baseline jump and what used to be considered mid-level output is now the minimum expectation for anyone walking through the door. If all you can do is write the code that AI writes for $20 a month, you don't have a competitive advantage. You are just an expensive alternative to a tool that already exists. And this isn't theoretical. Look at the hiring data. Junior developer postings have dropped significantly across the industry. Companies are not replacing juniors who leave. And boot camps are seeing graduates struggle to place in ways that didn't happen 3 years ago. The market is telling you something. The old entry point is closed. Now, here is the part that matters. Because if I just told you that the old path is dead and left it there, that's completely useless to you. The truth is, what replaced it is actually much better. The new entry point is much higher, but the path there is even faster. And the reason why it's faster is because the same AI that closed the old door has now opened this new one. Instead of spending 12 months learning syntax and building tutorial projects, you can now use AI to skip straight to real project work. So AI will handle the syntax for you, handle the boilerplate code, and handle the implementation details that used to take you months to memorize. And now that frees you up to focus on things that AI can't do. And those things are exactly what companies are hiring for. In short, the new entry point isn't about being able to write code, it's being able to think at a high level, being able to look at a complex problem and make decisions about how to solve it and use the AI as a tool to execute faster. This is the new junior, except it's not really junior anymore. This is something that previously someone mid-level would have been operating at. And now you can get there in a fraction of the time because AI has compressed the learning curve. So the people who adapt to this are going to leapfrog everybody who's still grinding through the old playbook. And the ones who figure out first have the biggest advantage because the market hasn't caught up yet. Most people are still learning like it's 2022. Now let me tell you why crypto is the best industry to apply this in and why it's not even close. Because crypto has always valued proof of work over credentials. No degree checks, no certification requirements, and nobody cares where you went to university. So if you can ship, you're in. And that culture already existed before AI changed anything. But now it's even more powerful because the new model, which is learning through building and using AI to accelerate and prove yourself through real output, that is exactly how crypto has always hired. On top of that, there are fewer than 30,000 blockchain engineers that exist worldwide. So all of these companies that are managing billions of dollars in cryptocurrency are competing for such a small pool of talent. Entry-level crypto jobs start at £70,000 to £80,000 a year. And the supply-demand gap means even more people are entering the space, and as they enter the space, they have more leverage. So in traditional tech, where you're competing against thousands of applicants who are all using the same playbook, whereas in crypto, you're entering a market that's actively short on people. And when you combine AI-assisted development speed with crypto's proof-of-work hiring culture, you get the fastest realistic path to 6 figures for someone who is starting from zero. That is not me hyping up crypto. That is exactly what the market looks like right now. One of my students joined in the last summer break with no crypto experience, and he used this exact approach to build on a real client project, and within 2 months he was working for Binance. Another one landed a job at the Ethereum Foundation at 22 years old. And another one landed a job at Elliptic Security, which was his first ever crypto job application. All of them learned by building, all of them used AI as a tool, and all of them entered an industry which rewarded them for exactly what they had to offer. The new playbook is learning by building, using AI to move fast and developing a real understanding of systems and security and proving it through work that people can verify. And the best place to run that playbook is crypto, because the industry was built on this approach before any other industry caught on. So if you want the full framework for how to do this and how we take people from zero to working in crypto through real projects, real mentorship, and real outcomes, click the link in the description. It will break down everything that you need to know. And if this shifted how you're thinking about your career, subscribe, because this is everything that we cover on this channel.